Tonight, breaking news, two separate flights diverted over the U.S., two very different threats. One of them diverted because of a threat of a bomb on board. Also breaking, President Biden, is he planning to take executive action on the U.S.-Mexico border? And the horrific scene on a Florida beach, a 7-year-old girl buried in the sand. First tonight, the trouble in the skies, an unruly passenger tackled during an American Airlines flight to Chicago, allegedly trying to open an emergency door, passengers and crew using duct tape to restrain him. The other flight, the threat of a bomb on board, the flight from Newark to Los Angeles. Gio Benitez standing by. Also tonight, the breaking headline as we come on, President Biden considering executive action on the border. Mary Bruce standing by with late reporting what's now being considered. In New York City tonight, the murder case. The suspect right now in Arizona. The prosecutor there says she will not extradite the suspect to New York. Tonight, the Manhattan DA says they're playing politics with a murder case. That horrific scene on a Florida beach, a 7-year-old buried while digging a hole in the sand with her brother. The walls caving in around her. Rescuers saving her brother. The girl, though, was beneath him. Tonight, the first look at the former FBI informant now charged with lying to the FBI about President Biden's son Hunter, the president, and Ukraine. Pierre Thomas on the Hill tonight pressing Republicans. Where do these allegations go from here if the informant was lying about it all? Tonight in Ukraine, authorities warning Russia is about to launch a major offensive there. James Longman reporting inside Ukraine. Donald Trump and what he said about Nikki Haley's husband, who is a member of the military serving overseas. Tonight, Haley responding one-on-one with us and what she says will happen in November if Trump gets the Republican nomination. Tonight, the fallout already when it comes to that ruling involving IVF. One of Alabama's largest hospitals tonight already halting IVF fertility treatments. So what does this mean for millions of women moving forward? The storms we're tracking tonight on the move, and this evening the 20-vehicle pileup drivers could not see. And America Strong tonight, what the opposing team did to lift up one very deserving player. But does he make the shot? You'll see the moment.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and we begin tonight with two separate scares on two different flights over the U.S. Two flights diverted within 24 hours, one from a possible bomb threat on one flight. It was an unruly passenger on the other who allegedly tried to open an emergency door in midair. The United flight from Newark to Los Angeles landing in Chicago after that possible bomb threat. Meantime, the American flight and the struggle on board from Albuquerque to Chicago. Passengers then stepping in to stop a man trying to reach the door, dragging him away, flight attendants securing him with duct tape. ABC's Gio Benitez leading us off tonight.
Tonight, two planes diverted in less than 24 hours, getting the attention of the FBI. Just this morning, emergency vehicles swarming the tarmac in Chicago after a possible bomb threat on this United plane, originally going from Newark to Los Angeles.
When we landed, they told us that somebody had written a bomb threat on a mirror in a bathroom.
United Airlines saying the flight was diverted due to a potential security concern.
They didn't even announce anything to start. I got a notification on my watch that said my flight was being diverted to Chicago. Finally, after like 15 minutes, the pilot came on the radio or on the PA and said, there was a situation and that we had to descend.
Passengers were taken off the plane and loaded onto buses. Chicago police saying they responded and cleared the scene.
Somebody get some help.
And just yesterday, an American Airlines flight from Albuquerque to Chicago forced to return after a passenger allegedly tried to open a door while in the air. Zach Etkindy and other passengers jumping in.
We all managed to kind of rip him off the door, which he was trying to open, and get him into the aisle. And then once he was in the aisle, I sat on him while some other people held his legs, other people were holding onto his arms. And eventually one of the flight attendants brought duct tape so we could duct tape his legs together. And then they had flexi cuffs, which we put around his arms.
Police meeting the plane, taking the man into custody, leading him down the jetway stairs in handcuffs. And David, on that alleged bomb threat, the FBI says there's no sign of a threat to public safety right now. Those passengers were delayed by a few hours, but they should be landing in L.A. later tonight.
All right, David. Gio Benitez on both of these flights tonight. Gio, thank you as always. There's also a breaking headline out of the White House at this hour. ABC News has just learned that President Biden is considering major new action on the southern border. Significant restrictions on asylum seekers on the U.S.-Mexico border. Let's get right to Mary Bruce, live at the White House tonight. Mary, what are you learning?
Well, David, we have learned that President Biden is considering taking executive action to impose tough new asylum restrictions. One possibility would be to bar migrants from seeking asylum if they cross between U.S. ports of entry. Now, he is considering, I am told, a wide range of options. This is just a possibility. No final decisions have been made, but this does come after Republicans on the Hill, under pressure from Donald Trump, tanked that bipartisan border deal, and as President Biden is eager to show voters that he's taking this issue seriously. David.
Mary, before we go, the other major headline of the White House today involves the president canceling $1.2 billion in student loan debt, more than 150,000 student borrowers. This was a campaign promise, of course, and he continues to push forward on this.
He does, David. And starting today, 153,000 student borrowers will be receiving an email from President Biden telling them that their student loans are being forgiven, wiping out $1.2 billion in loans. Now, to qualify, you must be enrolled in the president's signature repayment plan and have a low original balance, less than $12,000, and have been making payments for at least 10 years. Now, this is a far cry from what the president initially promised, but after the Supreme Court struck down his initial plan last year, the president is well aware that voters and Americans are feeling frustrated, and he wants to show that he is still trying to fulfill this pledge, David.
All right, Mary Bruce with us tonight as well on the breaking headlines. Mary, thank you. We have a lot of other news to get to. A horrific scene on a Florida beach for a family on vacation from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Their two children digging a hole in the sand when the walls collapsed, trapping the boy and girl under the sand. The 9-year-old boy was pulled out, but his 7-year-old sister underneath him did not survive. ABC's Victor Oquendo on the scene in Florida.
Tonight, a family vacation turning tragic on a Florida beach after a little girl became trapped in a 5 to 6 foot sand hole.
There is a little girl buried under the sand, and they have not gotten to her yet.
A frantic race to reach 7-year-old Sloan Mattingly after sand collapsed on her and 9-year-old brother Maddox while they were digging a hole on the beach in Lauderdale by the Sea. Panicked witnesses calling 911.
The father started yelling for help, but his child is caught in a hole in the sand. My husband's up there, and a bunch of men are digging on the beach.
The boy, who was buried up to his chest, was rescued, but officials say his sister was trapped beneath him. Witnesses say it took about 15 minutes to reach Sloan, who was rushed to the hospital and later died.
The parents were helpless. I mean, they couldn't find their child. Everybody was trying to help.
Collapsing sand holes have claimed dozens of lives over the years. Some communities ban beachgoers from digging them.
What makes it so dangerous?
The fact that sand is unstable and it can move very quickly.
And it could just collapse at any time.
It could collapse, yes.
7-year-old Sloan's family was on vacation here in Lauderdale by the Sea from Indiana. Her elementary school calling her a bright, sweet, loving first grade student. David?
Just an awful story and a reminder for us all again. Victor, thank you. In New York City tonight, the murder case now making national news. The suspect wanted in several states, in fact, and the Manhattan DA wants him extradited back to New York to face charges. But the Arizona prosecutor tonight who says she won't send him back. The Manhattan DA says she's playing politics with a murder case. Here's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, the Manhattan District Attorney accusing an Arizona prosecutor of playing political games in a murder investigation by refusing to extradite a murder suspect in a New York case from Arizona back to New York to face charges.
Having observed the treatment of violent criminals in the New York area by the Manhattan DA there, Alvin Bragg, I think it's safer to keep him here.
Maricopa attorney Rachel Mitchell calling out Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg for being soft on crime, refusing to extradite Rod Al-Mansouri to New York City. Al-Mansouri is wanted in the killing of 38-year-old Denise Oleas Arancibia, who was found bludgeoned to death in this New York City hotel on February 8th. The NYPD releasing these surveillance images appearing to show Al-Mansouri wearing the victim's leggings after the alleged murder. Authorities say just days ago he stabbed multiple women in Arizona and has several prior arrests in Florida and Texas. They believe he may have been involved in other unsolved attacks.
Anywhere that he's visited, there's potential that there are other victims around the country.
David, the Maricopa attorney said she was concerned if Al-Mansouri were extradited to New York, he could be released on bail. The Manhattan DA called her comments a gross insult. David?
All right, Trevor Ault. Thank you, Trevor. Tonight, the first look at the former FBI informant who authorities say admitted he has ties to Russian intelligence. He's now charged with lying about President Biden's son, the president, and Ukraine. His name is Alexander Smirnov, seen leaving court, concealing his face right there, now charged. Meantime, House Republicans today questioning the president's brother, James Biden, behind closed doors, what he said today. As our Pierre Thomas tonight asks Republicans in the House, how do you move forward if the main informant was lying?
Tonight, a first glimpse of the longtime FBI informant accused of working with Russian intelligence officials to spread lies about President Biden. Alexander Smirnov doing his best to conceal his identity as he spirited away from a courthouse in Las Vegas. Prosecutors say Smirnov was actively peddling new lies that could impact U.S. elections after meeting with Russian intelligence officials in November. Smirnov is charged with lying to the FBI, making up a story that as vice president, Joe Biden accepted a $5 million bribe from Burisma, the Ukrainian energy company where his son Hunter sat on the board. That false story cited by House Republicans again and again to justify launching their impeachment investigation.
A highly credible FBI source alleges that Joe Biden received $5 million in exchange for pressuring for the firing of a Ukrainian prosecutor.
But prosecutors say it was all a fabrication. Today, Congressman Jim Jordan, a leader of the impeachment investigation, deflecting, insisting he had been once told by a Justice Department official that Smirnov was credible.
That this confidential human source had all the indicia of credibility because he checked out the times and places that he said he was and found that he was actually in those locations.
But they're now calling him a liar,
well,
special counsel.
All I'm saying is you got to ask the FBI about that. He may in fact have given false statement. I don't know.
Democrats say the Smirnov indictment makes impeachment case closed.
Well, I think the Smirnov revelations destroy the entire case. It was that foundation that the whole house of cards has been built on, and the entire thing has collapsed.
But Republicans who have uncovered no evidence President Biden committed impeachable offenses, pressing anyway.
Your brother involved in any of your business dealings?
Today calling the president's brother James Biden to testify. No comment outside, but behind closed doors, James Biden telling lawmakers his brother has never had any involvement or any direct or indirect financial interest in his business dealings. Biden adding, I never asked my brother to take any official action on behalf of me, my business associates, or anyone else. David, the president's brother James Biden testifying behind closed doors for roughly 8 hours. But the news of the FBI informant and his alleged lies today overshadowed that testimony. Republicans defiant. Congressman Jim Jordan telling me today that the Smirnov case doesn't change a thing. David?
All right, Pierre Thomas tonight. Pierre, thank you. Now to the race for president, and respect for the military is the issue. Donald Trump and what he said about Nikki Haley's husband, who is serving in the military overseas. Tonight, Haley firing back, saying this is about all military families, and what she told our Eva Pilgrim will happen in November if Trump gets the Republican nomination. Rachel Scott tonight on the campaign trail.
Tonight, just 3 days before the South Carolina primary, former Governor Nikki Haley firing back at Donald Trump for mocking her husband Michael, who is serving a one-year deployment overseas as a major in the South Carolina Army National Guard.
Where's her husband? Oh, he's away. He's away. What happened to her husband? What happened to her husband?
On the trail, Haley growing emotional, talking about her husband's deployment.
I wish our children and I could see him tonight, but we can't.
Haley today addressing Trump's comments in an interview with ABC's Eva Pilgrim and defending military families like her own.
I'm in that year-long prayer wanting him to come home safely, but so many military families go through this. He just doesn't get it, that this is about something bigger than ourselves.
We saw you sort of fight back against him when he mentioned your husband and his deployment. That really ticked you off.
I mean, look, it's not personal for me and Michael. We can handle that. It's personal when you think of military families. They go through a lot. Don't make light of that. To me, veterans are off limits. Don't talk about them. Don't say anything, because every freedom Donald Trump has is because of the men and women in our military. He's never known what it means to sacrifice for something other than yourself.
Haley with this message to South Carolina Republicans who would vote for Trump.
Don't complain about what happens in a general election if you don't get this right in a primary, because we will lose. It's that simple. We will lose. Everything he touches, we lose. And so at some point you have to say, maybe he's the problem.
The South Carolina primary is just 3 days away. Nikki Haley is still trailing Donald Trump by more than 30 points.
David.
All right, Rachel Scott, our thanks to you and to Eva Pilgrim. And Eva will have much more of her interview with Governor Haley tomorrow on GMA3. Tonight, the fallout immediate after that ruling on IVF. One of Alabama's largest hospitals this evening already halting IVF fertility treatments after that state's highest court determined frozen embryos are people. Elizabeth Schulze again tonight.
Tonight, one of Alabama's largest hospitals stopping IVF fertility treatments in the wake of that unprecedented decision by the state's Supreme Court. Alabama, the first state in the country to consider frozen embryos people. And now the University of Alabama at Birmingham Health System saying we must evaluate the potential that our patients and our physicians could be prosecuted criminally or face punitive damages for following the standard of care for IVF treatments. During IVF, multiple embryos are typically frozen to improve families' chances of a successful pregnancy. Now, it could be a crime to destroy them. Tonight on the campaign trail, candidate Nikki Haley agreeing with the state court.
Embryos to me are babies. When you talk about an embryo, you are talking about, to me, that's a life.
Haley did not say what this could mean for Alabama families who are relying on IVF to conceive, like Gabby Goydell and her husband.
I didn't think that anybody would want to stop us from having children.
David, doctors we spoke with called the Alabama ruling incomplete. Still so many questions about what it means for families and providers. David.
Elizabeth Schulze, thank you. Overseas tonight, Ukraine's military is now warning this evening that Russia is about to launch a major offensive. James Longman inside Ukraine tonight.
Tonight, Ukrainian commanders with a stark warning. Russia is on the brink of a major offensive on multiple fronts across the east. Bombing Kramatorsk overnight following their takeover of the town of Avdiivka, regaining ground lost in Ukraine's counteroffensive last summer. And with new U.S. sanctions looming after the death of Putin's fiercest critic Alexei Navalny, Russian authorities have now detained a dual U.S.-Russian citizen. They released this video, reportedly showing 33-year-old ballerina Ksenia Karelina, who lives and works in Los Angeles, with a hat covering her eyes and handcuffed, ready to appear in court. She's been charged with treason. Russian authorities claim she donated about $50 to a Ukrainian charity in the United States. Karelina was part of the Baltimore Ballet in 2017. Her former mother-in-law says she was arrested while visiting family in Russia.
If we don't help her, we can say goodbye to her. If we do not protect her as an American citizen, nobody else will.
U.S. officials are sharpening their warnings tonight not to travel to Russia. David.
James Longman in Key for us. James, thank you. When we come back here, the storm's on the move tonight. Illinois right to the northeast, and the major pileup on the highway drivers could not see. Tonight, Boeing shaking up its leadership amid questions about safety. The head of its 737 jetliner program, Ed Clark, leaving immediately. It comes after that door plug blew off a MAX 9 jet in midair. An early review found bolts removed at the factory were never replaced. When we come back here tonight, the storm's moving into the northeast and the pileup. Tonight, heavy fog is being blamed for a 20-vehicle pileup in Jones County, Mississippi. Cars and trucks slamming into each other. This is Highway 84. 10 people were rushed to the hospital. Meantime, heavy rain and snow from Illinois to upstate New York expected through tomorrow. When we come back here, you're not going to believe what the opposing team did. Finally tonight here, both teams rooting for one player, America Strong. In Glen Falls, New York, north of Albany, it was Queensbury Middle School, the Spartans, versus Bolton Central School, the Eagles. On the Eagles team, 10-year-old fifth grader Jacoby Egloff, who has Down syndrome. The opposing team was leading, but they knew Jacoby and they know his determination. And they wanted to make sure he got the final shot. With just seconds left in the game, watch number 30 in the blue, the Spartans' Tice Mulder, passing the ball to Jacoby on the opposing team.
He's going to give him the ball. See, this is what I'm talking about right here.
Jacoby making the shot, and right here tonight,
Hi, David.
Jacoby on his big moment.
What did everyone do in the gym? They went nuts.
And this evening, joining us too,
Hi, David.
Tice, who passed the ball to Jacoby.
It was important because we think that everyone should get a shot.
Tonight here, Jacoby and his family telling us they will never forget it.
Hi, David.
Jacoby's mother, Janelle.
Don't let anybody limit your child because the sky's the limit.
She's right. The sky's the limit. Way to go, Jacoby, and Tice, too. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.